What if everything you thought you knew about time, space, and reality was wrong? Imagine a clock ticking slower the faster you move. Imagine holding a tiny pebble in your hand, so small, yet containing enough energy to level an entire city. Imagine bending the very fabric of the universe, not with machines, but with pure thought. One man dared to imagine these things, and in doing so, he changed the world forever. This is the story of Albert Einstein, the restless mind who chased light, defied convention, and unlocked the secrets of the cosmos. Albert Einstein had never been an ordinary thinker. As a child in Germany, he was slow to speak, a trait that worried his parents. But inside, his mind was constantly alive. He would spend hours contemplating the mechanics of the world, why the compass needle pointed north, how light traveled, why time seemed to move forward but never backward. His fascination with light began early. At 16, he imagined what it would be like to chase a beam of light. If he moved alongside it at the speed of light, would the beam appear frozen? The question gnawed at him, but he had no answer yet. Despite his brilliance, school frustrated him. Rigid authority and rote memorization clashed with his free-thinking nature. He despised being told what to think rather than how to think. He eventually left school and enrolled in the Swiss Federal Polytechnic in Zurich, a place that valued independent minds. But even there, he didn't impress all his professors. After graduating, Einstein struggled. No university wanted to hire him as a professor. His unorthodox approach to physics and lack of recommendations left him without options. In the year 1902, he took a job at the Swiss Patent Office in Bern, reviewing patent applications for electrical devices. It was mundane work, but it gave him something invaluable: time to think. In 1905, while still working as a patent clerk, Einstein's mind finally connected the dots that had eluded him since childhood. That year, later called his Annus Mirabilis, or Miracle Year, he published 4 groundbreaking papers in the scientific journal Annalen der Physik. The photoelectric effect. Einstein proved that light was not just a wave, as previously thought, but also made of discrete packets called quanta, later called photons. This challenged classical physics and laid the foundation for quantum mechanics. Brownian motion. He mathematically proved that tiny particles in liquid move randomly due to molecular collisions, providing solid proof that atoms exist. Special relativity, the paper that changed everything. Einstein proposed that time and space were not absolute but relative. They changed based on the observer's motion. Einstein's journey to discovering the theory of relativity was not an easy one, but it's a story of perseverance, curiosity, and overcoming doubt. As a young patent clerk, he spent his free time pondering the mysteries of the universe, grappling with ideas that seemed impossible at the time. The discovery of special relativity wasn't a sudden flash of insight. It was a slow, methodical unraveling of long-held assumptions. For centuries, scientists believed time was universal, ticking the same for everyone, everywhere. But Einstein wasn't satisfied. He questioned what would happen if someone traveled at the speed of light. Would the laws of physics still apply in the same way? He realized that if light always moved at the same speed, regardless of the observer's movement, then time itself must change to compensate. If a person moved faster, their experience of time would slow down compared to someone at rest. This was the shocking realization: time was relative. If time could stretch and shrink, then space could too. The two were inseparably linked, forming what he called spacetime. He worked relentlessly, writing and rewriting equations. He tested his ideas against every known experiment. Each time, the math held. His mind had reached into the very fabric of reality and reshaped it. Many thought his ideas about the nature of time and space were absurd, including prominent physicists like Henri Poincaré, Max Planck, and Albert Michelson, who believed in the established Newtonian view of absolute space and time. Despite facing rejection, skepticism, and personal struggles, Einstein didn't give up. He pressed on, believing in the power of his own reasoning and imagination. His breakthrough came through years of relentless thought, challenging conventional wisdom, and questioning everything he knew about reality. He finally published his theory of relativity in 1905. Despite the significance of his work, Einstein remained largely unknown. He was still a patent clerk, not a professor, but slowly word spread. Physicists like Max Planck recognized the brilliance of his ideas and encouraged further research. By 1909, Einstein was finally offered a university position in Zurich. His days at the patent office were over, but he wasn't done. In 1915, after years of relentless thought, he took relativity further. He realized that gravity wasn't a force pulling objects as Newton had claimed, it was the bending of space-time itself. This led to the general theory of relativity, which predicted that massive objects, like the Sun, could curve space and time. The scientific community was skeptical, but in 1919, British astronomer Arthur Eddington put Einstein's theory to the test. During a total solar eclipse, Eddington's team observed that starlight passing near the Sun bent exactly as Einstein predicted. The results made headlines worldwide. Overnight, Einstein became a celebrity, his name synonymous with genius. Einstein's discovery of mass-energy equivalence, encapsulated in the famous equation E is equal to mc squared, came in 1905 as part of his special theory of relativity. Before this, physicists understood energy and mass as separate entities, but Einstein's insight revealed that they were, in fact, two forms of the same thing. The foundation for this idea emerged from his work on the photoelectric effect, for which he won the Nobel Prize in 1921. Despite his scientific triumphs, Einstein's personal life was complicated. His relentless focus on work often left his relationships strained. His first wife, Mileva Maric, was a physicist herself, but their marriage grew tense. They eventually divorced in 1919. He was also deeply affected by world events. As a Jewish scientist in Germany, he saw the rise of the Nazis with alarm. By 1933, he fled to the United States, taking a position at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton. He remained outspoken against war, nationalism, and racism. Despite his equation leading to the atomic bomb, he was a pacifist at heart. He spent his later years advocating for peace and the ethical use of science. Einstein never stopped thinking. Even in his final days, he worked on his unified field theory, an attempt to bring together all the forces of nature into one framework. He never completed it, but his work laid the foundation for modern physics. On April 18, 1955, at the age of 76, Einstein passed away. His last words were lost, spoken in German to a nurse who didn't understand the language. Yet, his real message was already left for the world. He had changed how humanity understood reality. Einstein's story isn't just about equations and discoveries, it's about the power of curiosity, persistence, and independent thinking. He was never the wealthiest, never the most traditionally successful, and never followed the rules. But his relentless questioning of the universe led to some of the greatest scientific advancements of all time. His legacy reminds us, don't be afraid to question what others accept as truth. Imagination is as important as knowledge. Science should serve humanity, not destruction. Albert Einstein wasn't just a scientist. He was a mind that dared to see the universe differently. And because of that, the world will never see it the same way again. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment below. And please subscribe to the channel. We shall bring more inspiring events in the future.